As I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, are aware, the new film from Christopher Nolan, The Odyssey, is fast approaching. Its release date is set for sometime in July. Given that this new film is right around the corner, Christopher Nolan obviously is doing some more promotional work to increase the hype, build up the hype around the film. And as part of that, he just, last night technically, appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Now, I didn't have a chance to watch this interview live, but after that show premiered in the evening, they then released on YouTube the new trailer for The Odyssey, as well as an extended interview, the extended interview that Nolan did with Colbert. I'm very excited to see this because, as some of you may know, those of you who watched my reaction to the first trailer, I was quite harsh on it. I had quite a scathing review. There were many issues that I found with that initial trailer. So I'm hoping this one will be better. I mean, right off the bat, we can actually watch the trailer in 4K. We aren't limited to 1080p anymore, which is a major improvement in and of itself. My hopes are up. Let's take a look.
Tell me what you remember.
A wife?
Okay, I have to say, right off the bat, why are we still dealing with this letterboxing, right? I don't want to be negative. I don't want to come into this trailer with a negative attitude towards it, because I am truly very excited to see this film when it comes out. And again, like I said in my initial reaction to the first trailer that we got around Christmas time, you can't judge a film by its trailer, just like you can't judge a book by its cover. The fact that that first trailer wasn't really that inspiring doesn't mean that the final product is going to be bad. And so the same thing here, just because they've made some choices with sort of how they present the trailer doesn't mean the final film's going to be bad. That's not what I'm saying. But when we have a film that was shot entirely in IMAX cameras, and we know the aspect ratio of an IMAX film, and we know how it's presented even in Limax, and we know how it could be presented even in just purely digital, why is the trailer still letterboxed? It feels like we're going to miss out on a lot of the composition and the framing of some of these shots to give it that, like, movie trailer look that you really don't need to do anymore. Plenty of trailers these days don't have letterboxing around them. Anyway, it's a small detail. I'm probably more upset by it than I have any right to be, but still, I would love to see the full frame. I know it wouldn't be in like 4:3 or anything approaching that, but even just 16:9, right? Just full screen.
A son.
And then what?
All right, so we got scenes of Troy. That's pretty cool. First of all, this trailer already showing us a lot of scenes and shots that we didn't get with the first trailer, which is great. I always like when new trailers actually show us more instead of just like one or two shots.
A son.
Very curious what the setting is here. I don't remember my Odyssey as well as I should. So I'm curious what the setting is here while Telemachus is on a ship himself.
And then what?
I assume this is Calypso, I think. And then, yeah, we got Troy. So there are a couple of shots like this that I've been wanting to see for a while. I don't know how much they're going to spoil in these trailers, right, before the film actually comes out. Obviously, the Trojan horse was one of them. We did see a shot, sort of the Trojan horse, I think, in the first trailer. We've definitely seen stills that included the Trojan horse. We've had that teased to us before. But them actually descending out of the horse isn't something we had seen. A better shot of the Cyclops would be cool to see, and the Whirlpool, the Scylla and Charybdis, and then the Sirens as well. Again, I'm not necessarily hoping that all of this is shown to us in this trailer. Those are just things that I'm curious to see.
We won the war.
From what I've heard, the Sacking of Troy is the prologue to this film. I have a feeling Nolan is going to once again deliver on his opening prologues. Already looks really cool.
Help me go home.
This is a household
Okay, that's, again, small detail, but I think this is one of the first repeated shots that we've gotten in this trailer so far.
This is a household waiting for Matt.
And we're getting more of Pattinson's character. All right, I'll stop interrupting for a second. Let him actually
This
speak.
is a household waiting for Master. I want you to choose me.
Ithaca's king is coming back.
No, he's not.
Are we we about to get more of the Cyclops? All right, before we get into that, getting to see more of Anne Hathaway as Penelope, more of Pattinson as his character. I'm forgetting who he's playing, what his name is, but he's sort of like the lead suitor, seeking Penelope's hand in remarriage after everyone thinks Odysseus is dead. Based off of what we've seen so far and how much time they've given to it in the trailer, it seems like they might be playing more into that story as well. Not that that wasn't a part of the Odyssey by any means, but just proportionally speaking, it wasn't the largest part of the Odyssey, right? That dynamic of Penelope at home with all these suitors trying to win her hand, and Telemachus trying to be master of the house in his father's absence and dealing with all of these suitors.
Ithaca's king is coming back.
And also, I'm glad they're including this, right? Again, been a while since I read the Odyssey. It's been a while since I've brushed up on these different parts of the story. But so Penelope's weaving this garment, either it's her wedding dress or something like that. And once she finishes it, then she will pick a suitor and get married. That's the deal she finally makes with the suitors. So I'm glad they included that part of this.
He's coming back.
It's pretty...
No, he's not.
Stuck in my mind. Oh, okay. We actually got a Cyclops shot. Not just a... I mean, it's still a little shadowy, but it's not just a shadowy figure appearing through the cave. Dang, that's pretty...
What would he do if he came back?
I want to watch that again. It's like, apparently this isn't CGI. They used like stop motion and animatronics to make this. It looks good.
What would he do if he came back here and find all these suitors in his house?
You're pining for a daddy you didn't even know, like some sniveling bastard.
Who's looking after your wife and son?
Great to see more of this scene here. Again, we got part of this in the original teaser. Beautiful cinematography here with the fire and the sort of blue haze. It's cool to see more of that. I have to say here, something to point out. Again, a little overall, loving this trailer so much more than the first one. It's paced a lot better, got a lot more intensity to it. It's a lot more dramatic. This line here,
You're pining for a daddy you didn't even know.
it's hitting me the wrong way. Now I understand that the point of that line is to sort of drive home what Pattinson's character is saying to Telemachus, right? This sort of condescending tone, mocking him, treating him like a child when he's, the man of the house right now, and like not respecting the fact that he's man of the house. But there's something about saying you're pining for your daddy that just doesn't feel like it fits in the Odyssey. To the modern ear, it does convey, I think, what the scene is supposed to convey. So that's probably why they did it that way, but it just feels a little too lowbrow, a little too modern. It kind of detracts from the linguistic atmosphere of the Odyssey to have that. But again, like saying you're pining for your father who's never going to come home doesn't have the same kind of condescending, mocking tone to it that this line does.
Your daddy you didn't even know, like some sniveling bastard.
Who's looking after your wife and son?
Do you see?
My dad is coming home.
Bringing your friend.
Like even there, the sequence here, well edited, well put together. I'm not trying to detract from that. Great trailer so far. But this line here,
Do you see?
not that.
My dad is coming home.
My dad is coming home. Why couldn't he just say my father's coming home? Again, it's a small detail. It's just bringing in that modern parlance to the Odyssey. Obviously, it's not in the original language of the Odyssey. None of this is. But to also bring in a sort of like more colloquial way of talking in this translation of the Odyssey, let's say, is just not my favorite. I don't know. I've always had an issue with that. It's not just about the Odyssey. I've seen other modern day or English adaptations of the Greek tragedies, for instance, let's say. And they would sometimes be translated into a very colloquial English. And it always just felt kind of off when they did that.
Bringing your vengeance.
Bringing it all.
I don't know. Right, again, I hate to be so critical because it is such a small detail, but it does kind of take one out of the grandeur and the spectacle of an adaptation of the Odyssey by Christopher Nolan on this grand scale to say, let's go instead of onward, forward, like just something that's a little more polished, I guess. I don't know. This may be a hot take. This may be a very niche, specific take to myself. Others may not care at all. And I agree, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge deal. It's just unfortunate because it keeps bringing me out of the drama of the moment. Extended bar scene.
I need everyone at this party dead.
As I was saying earlier, focusing on this character more and more, it does seem like proportionately this is going to play a greater role in the story than I remember it playing in the story, proportionately speaking to the rest of the Odyssey. So that's an interesting choice. Doesn't mean it's a bad choice. It's just interesting to see that that seems to be how they're balancing things out. Could just be a trailer choice. Be curious to see if that the storyline at home with Penelope and Telemachus and this guy is given almost as much screen time as Odysseus' story of traveling home.
Already dead.
Because that's how it's going in the trailer.
I can still save them.
You're a man who needs to control his fate. But you cannot control this.
That world is gone.
No one could stand between me and home. Not even the gods.
They still aren't showing him fully, right? We don't get that full view. And maybe we never will. Maybe that's part of how they're doing the Cyclops in this film.
Keep us straight!
Oh, and we got the Whirlpool too. So we got Cyclops, Whirlpool, and the Trojan Horse, but we didn't get the Sirens or Sea Monster. July 17th, Nolan's The Odyssey comes to theaters in IMAX. I have to say, much better trailer than the first. So I said that multiple times as we were going through. Much better trailer. I was already, despite how the first trailer was, I was still very excited to see this film in theaters. Significantly more excited after this trailer has released. I'm glad this came out. I'm glad it's in 4K this time. Again, there's some minor things that I think just are kind of rubbing me a little weirdly. Overall, do I think that's going to mean that this is not a great, fantastic film? Those linguistic choices, I don't think will. No, not at all. This trailer obviously showed a lot more than the first one did, but despite that, I understand there's still a lot more to the story that they haven't shown yet. And some of which has been teased that it is included in the story, so it isn't that they just completely cut it. But they haven't shown it yet in any trailers, and maybe never will. I'm curious how many trailers we will get before the film releases. Presumably, we will get another one at the end of June, early July. I'm trying to remember what the timeline was for Oppenheimer. I believe we got 3 trailers for that, maybe a teaser and 3 trailers. I think this counts as trailer 2, but I'm not entirely sure what the first one counted as. That might end up being classified as a teaser. So if so, we could get 2 more of these, and we also might get an extended first look. We got that for Oppenheimer, and that was really cool. It's like a 6-minute trailer, and I thought that was very well done as well. It'd be cool to get one for the Odyssey, but we shall see. Anyway, with that being said, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this trailer, especially how it compares to the first one. Maybe you disagree with my assessment that the first one was significantly worse than this one, and this is actually a very, very good trailer. Let me know also what you are excited to see in Nolan's next film when it releases, what part of the film you're hoping to see on the big screen. And don't forget to subscribe for more movie commentary and reviews.